Hey, what's up there, comic book fans? Welcome back to Comic Book Corner, and it's your host, me, Mike Spider Slayer, bringing you episode 5 of celebrating 50 years of old Spider-Man. That's right, guys. I'm keeping Peter Parker's spirit alive by reliving all his past amazing spectacular, all his Spider-Man tales, reliving all the characters and just going back in history and having fun with this whole thing, and getting all of you out there, all the viewers, to interact with this video series. And in this series, what I want is all you guys to give me a story arc or a particular character that you want introduced or relived, and I can bring it to you guys each and every week. So this week we're on episode 5, and I have a viewer out there that asked me a question in the last episode, and his name is Chi-Town Chosen One 96. He wanted to know about the Master Planner. He said, Mike, can you talk about the Master Planner story arc that happens to be my favorite Spider-Man story and one of the most powerful comic books ever, in my opinion? Well, you know what, Chi-Town, I'm sorry, your name is hard. Chi-Town Chosen One 96, absolutely, I will do that for you. And that's what we're going to try to do here, guys, each and every week. We're going to try to bring you a Spider-Man tale that you guys love. So I did some research, I found it, and the Master Planner shows up and he makes his debut in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 31, and it's called The College Years. It debuted in 1965, and it is this tale right here, if you guys can see that, and it says, "If this be my destiny." So the Master Planner makes his debut in this particular issue, and the description that we have is Peter's headed off to college at Empire State University. It's a new chapter in his life and was beginning. And Stan Lee and Ditko were determined to make it a memorable one. Readers pondered the identity of the Master Planner, and he's a new criminal in New York, while a handful of new characters appeared in Parker's life, who would soon become pivotal players in the Spider-Man saga. This monumental issue, it saw the first appearances of Gwen Stacy, which was pretty awesome to see. If you have that issue, it's probably worth a lot of money. The prospective best friend, you get to see Harry Osborn, and you even get to see the future Spider villain known as the Jackal, and you get to see Professor Miles Warren. And with everything else that was going on in this whole entire book, you get to see Aunt May's health again, which was deteriorating rapidly within the issue. And again, here is the cover. And then you also get to see the first appearance of Gwen Stacy in this book. And she's looking at Peter, and she's talking, she just makes a thought bubble here, and she goes, "Peter Parker is the only boy I've met who hasn't even given me a tumble." And it's Gwen Stacy's first impressions. It says, while Gwen and Peter would go on to have one of the most important relationships of Peter Parker's young life, the first meeting didn't go well at all. Distracted by worries about his Aunt May, Peter came off as a cold and distant to Gwen. Harry Osborn got a similar impression of Peter on their first few encounters. And of course, Flash Thompson was only too happy to see Peter such a bad impression. He too was now attending Empire State University and had his own intentions toward the beautiful Miss Stacy. So that is the first time that we got to see those characters meet. And I bet, again, in that particular issue, in issue number 31, that book has got to be worth a ton of money with all those first appearances. Great issue to have in your collection, I'm sure. In issue number 32, of this story arc, when it comes to the Master Planner, we find out that the Master Planner's identity was revealed, and none other than what has been going on these days in Spider-Man's universe that we never get enough to see of is old Doc Ock himself, Spider-Man's most hated enemy. Now you can see why Doc Ock hates Spider-Man so much. He's in every major pivotal book, pretty much. But Doc Ock was revealed in his undersea headquarters. Doc Ock revealed his true identity, and we found out that he is the Master Planner. And in issue number 32 of this book, we find out that Dr. Octopus had an underwater hideout, which was pretty badass. And Peter Parker's Aunt May was basically in her deathbed, so at the point she was basically dying, and they diagnosed her illness as a bad case of radiation poisoning, and it was done by a blood transfusion that Dr. Octopus actually gave her, and it was slowly deteriorating her health, and it was pretty impressive. So then in this story arc, in issue number 33, debuted in 1966 of February, we get this cool page right here. I actually have a reprint of this particular issue right there, and it has Spider-Man trapped in the underwater hideout, which is really cool. And this book would become one of the most iconic scenes of Spider-Man's history. The tale continued from the previous month's issue, which is obvious, and this issue became with Spider-Man pinned down by the underwater fortress. And basically what happens is the water slowly, trickling in, coming down on Spider-Man, and the next thing we see is he overcomes the adversary, and he triumphs, and he lifts the debris over him. And I remember those pictures in the reprint. He lifts him up, and it's just like he breaks free, and he's just all super powerful, but he's all achy and everything. And then his inspiring tale of mind over matter and the power of willpower and determination saw Spider-Man escaping the villain's clutches and returning to Manhattan with I think in Spider-Man 36, ISO 36 serum, just in time to save the life, of course, of Aunt May. And Aunt May is all well again. And that ends the Master Planner chapter. So you get to see Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn, Dr. Octopus as the Master Planner himself. He's overcome this great adversity by lifting, machinery and headquarters all off of him and everything, and you get to see a real true hero kind of emerge out of Spider-Man in these 3 issues of this Master Planner story arc. So I am so happy that I can share this with you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to review this particular story arc. The next thing I wanted to talk about with you guys in this series is one of my first, well, not one of my first books, but my oldest Amazing Spider-Man book, and that's this one right here. Spidey Joins Doc Ock, issue number 56. This is my oldest book that I have. I could have gotten issues probably in the higher or lower numbers, but I try to get them in somewhat decent shape. This particular book we can see is, and I'll share this with you. This book here is it's a maybe in fair condition. It's got bent pages a little bit here. It's got a tear in the back cover right there. You can see actually a tear in those pages, and the spine is attached, and all the colors are attached. There's a slight yellowing to the actual book, but it has just that classic feel to it, just with old school Octopus there with his forearms and just those lengthy looking arms, and supposedly they team up in this actual issue and get to see all this old machinery and just classic Octopus Spider-Man bad guy action in here. Really fun stuff. I do remember reading this book, and I haven't read it in a while, but it is a fun read, just like all these other classic Spider-Man books. And in issue 56, we have in issue 56, the plot was, I guess Aunt May is living by herself, and Peter Parker is living with somebody, and it says both women enjoyed company and the financial benefits were welcome too, with more room. So she was living with Anna Watson. That's what Aunt May was who was living with, and but they had a neighbor, and the lodger turned out to be Dr. Octopus, shocked Spider-Man. So just another typical battle between Spidey and Doc Ock. And at this point, they've met so many times, it's just crazy. But again, this is what all leads up into Superior Spider-Man. Now you know why they picked, you know, Doc Ock as the new Spider-Man, because which way you turn, that's where Spider-Man is. I mean, that's where Doc Ock is, with Spider-Man, doing some kind of bad guy stuff. But great stuff. Again, guys, anything that you want me to share on celebrating 50 years of Spider-Man's history, just let me know in the comments below. I'll share it, I'll find it, I'll do the research, and we can all talk about it and comment on it. So it's kind of like a new spin on this Spider-Man series. I'm going to be tweaking it and changing it as I go, and I kind of want to get it to with your guys' reactions and your thoughts, and I want you guys to be involved with it. So guys, just let me know what you think, and stay tuned for next week's episode number 6. So guys, until the next Spider-Man celebrating 50 years, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. I'll see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.